We are still trying to figure out where the stop button is. There, it only plays once. We had it set for not looping, which is almost the way we're supposed to do it, I think. Welcome to your live update. Live stream update, I think, is what we still call this. Even though it's kind of going through this nebulous transformation of sorts right now. We are still kind of retooling, reassessing what it is that we will be doing for content. We like doing the news. We're just trying to decide how often we need to do it. It seems that doing it weekly it's a bit to keep up with. I'm wondering if we don't need to do that maybe more sporadically throughout the week. But right now, since we have no specific prep, because we are a team of at most two. I think we're 1.5 or 2. What are we, Brian? Are we 1.5? I don't know. We're a team of 2. I'll give you a full point on that one. We are in the process of still kind of figuring out what our roles and responsibilities for bringing you that news. But I think we're just going to roll through Twitter today, or X, if you prefer the nomenclature that Elon Musk has initialized for all of us. I've spent quite a bit of time basically arguing for the fact that X is the new Facebook today on X. I think today I have my own declaration of memes that I've made today. So, but hanging out in the back room is Brian. We've been just kind of sitting here just trying to wear hats and look cool. I like your hat better than mine. What hat is that, man?
This is the Jason Todd Red Hood.
Sweet.
One of Batman's wards, Jason Todd, was beaten to death by the Joker, or so it seemed.
Oh.
He actually survived and became the superhero, anti-hero, the Red Hood.
Gotcha.
Who went with more.
So you're saying you're geekier than I am in certain aspects.
It's only in the hat culture.
I would like to point out that my hat culture is a little old. I still like to roll my caps. You're definitely of the flat bill society.
Well, that's because part of my design here is the roll of hats.
Oh, the wall hats is highly respectable.
Oh, there's 3. There's 3 walls of hats. I'm not trying to flex my riz here. But
I have a stack of hats. I have a few that I'm very proud of. But this is the latest acquisition, so it's getting the latest play lately. So.
Well, like I said, there's certain hats I wear that are my everyday hats, sort of the ones that I wear out into the world, and then there are hats like these that get special attention every once in a while. Mm-hmm. If I'm wearing my red and black suit, this is a good match to it. This usually helps me to both stand out and become invisible in public in such a way that only I do. Where I'm both completely visible and standing out like a zit, but also completely invisible as a ghost. So,
well, I like that you downplay your awesomeness in public. In general, I don't think of you as much of a ghost. I think you have more riz than you give yourself credit for.
It was always that belief of staying humble. Like, there's too many people out there who've already done it before. Who am I to say anything? In fact, the reason I didn't publicly put out opinion vlogs until after the age of 40 was because up until then I just felt like some kid who needed to keep his mouth shut.
Well, real quick on a personal content basis, are you still working on your next Booth Monkey episode right now? Which one are you doing next?
We watched Up this week. My wife.
You already watched it. Good.
And so, I mean, we've always watched these, and it's forming in a sense of the concept I labeled as Church of Cinema.
Yeah.
Not to be blasphemous, but this idea that cinema is a place
dude, cinema's a religion.
Come together as a group to watch moving pictures. I mean, it's a
congregational effort.
It is. This portion of sleight hand magic. There's music. There's salty food involved, and it really just puts you in a place. But I guess what I got into was the way that I just wanted to cover and talk about movies that leave you with an emotion. Mm-hmm. I don't go back.
By the way, we still have yet to go see Cabrini together.
I know, we still have to see that. There's a few actually. There was one I wanted to show you a trailer of. I keep seeing for the Civil War trailer that's set in the 2025, and it's like, yes. Are you guys really trying to
They are trying to drum
There,
up a race war, aren't they? It's fucked up.
it's intense. It's yeah,
My
it's
professional opinion is it's effed up.
you know, we used to give like the September 11th maybe like 10 years of breathing time before
Right,
we
right.
went ahead
Too
and made
soon.
a movie. You know,
What happened to hashtag
uh,
too soon, right?
Pearl Harbor, we gave it a few years before we were making remakes of the
Right, right.
movies,
Now
but
they're making them before the events
yeah, now
happen.
we're predicting in cinema the way we did, way back with Deep Impact, as we just wait for the comments to come and
Well, a
cleanse
lot's
us away.
happened. A lot has happened in tech. X has had a lot of releases. There's been a lot of updates with X. Rumble has some interesting. They've just like conceded to say so much stuff has happened recently that we have to basically make one great big list. We have this. let me just solo this. It looks like the March 2024 platform updates. Live streaming infrastructure improvements have happened. They've enhanced their search auto suggestions, which I've seen the benefits of. Believe it or not, it's been pretty awesome. Rumble Raid features had launched on the web, which I got to participate in. I have to say, the Rumble Raid is actually pretty darn cool, and improvements are coming down that road as far as how they portray that. I think there's even I forget who the guy is. There's someone doing like the whole stream elements thing. So they're really catching up to Twitch really quickly. But let's go on back down here. It says that they have a pre-roll advertising implemented on the LG Smart TV app. It seems pretty specific to me. I guess they have a large market share, bro.
Yeah,
And
Rumble's doing their thing to kind of to really put themselves out there, especially with I guess what's so publicly known with YouTube and the way the makers are either leaving the platform or retiring. It's this
yeah,
idea that many people have been outspoken about the idea that we have had to self censor in a way to appeal to advertisements,
right.
which I mean, isn't that what it all is? Advertisers have the right to choose what they want to advertise on, and creators have a right to choose how they want to produce their art. And in the business of selling art, I mean, there is sort of that, sellout mentality that needs to happen for you to be able to do that. And, I exist on the internet as a time traveler. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I'm posting lately. The reason I haven't updated much on Church of Cinema was because I spent last week working on the next lyric video. And the
Mm,
lyric videos are just something that I, could literally be described as something that I do as a hobby.
right.
But it's also a exercise in practicing being a director, placing the words on screen in the exact position that they need to be in,
Mm.
directing your eye across the screen, making the background interesting, and
Oh,
just
yeah, that what
practicing
you were
the
talking about,
editing
drawing the eye, and
and
I've
just
got some.
practicing both my editing and my directing technique by putting out videos, not necessarily to chase the live zeitgeist of I want viewers right now,
Mhm.
but knowing that I'll have a channel that from now until the channel doesn't exist, will be producing small content that catches regular viewership daily.
Right, right,
Just
and
existing as a time traveler in a different place.
and a platform that isn't going to erase your history as time travelers is a big plus.
Press. And so with Rumble, we have that where we create the channel. We have the Booth Monkeys online. We're working on the Church of Cinema now too. But there also is, being able to produce content for, hey, what's the current conversation going on? Kind of how we're
Oh,
talking about
I
this is
think
what's happening in these websites.
the tighter
But
those
then, yeah,
integrations get, the better it's going to be. I mean, the more that you're interacting on X and Rumble, the more up to speed you really are at this point, because there's zero filtration happening between current events and the immediacy of now. There isn't this well, do we have to fact check everything and things getting pulled down and things sifting into the algorithm. I think the algorithm itself being almost non-existent on Rumble is a big plus at the moment to a certain extent. I think they still need better suggestions post play, but I think there's a lot more deliberate action that happens with Rumble currently. Anyway, I'm going to finish through this list,
yeah,
see
sorry.
where we're at. It says that they have clear and pause watch history on web, which is cool. A new UI for live chat on the iPhone app. I skipped that one. Extended static stream key functionality for creators, which is what I was telling you, I think, before we just went live, that I think some of the things we were experiencing issues with in setting up our stream are probably fixed, and I can't wait to test that. I didn't have time to test that on this one. Chat as a channel setting persists across all streams. I'm not sure what that means yet. The new default placeholder video and thumbnail. Yeah, they have like it doesn't look so cheesy as before, and I think designing something to go with that black and green animated background is going to be kind of cool. Although I did make the suggestion to Rick that the creator should have the ability to upload their own defaults, their own I didn't take time to set this up defaults, kind of like the template, but one step like prior to templates, but that should be customizable. So we'll see if that happens because the standard Rumble Green may not be ideal for everybody. Stability improvements, bug fixes across the platform. That is the most generic statement you could say about an update. Enhancements to political donation features and studio updates, screen share, multiple participants. I did test that. Very cool. I got to get on with Geek and did some screen share. We watched some of my dad jokes. I think we mentioned that last week. View all tips for a live stream and playing. We haven't played with this. Playing transparent WebM files as a stream overlay. You know what that means, don't you? That means Stinger transitions are on their way. If they're doing transparent WebM video playback, that means there's going to be Stinger wipes and stuff like that. Oh, it looks like we have a comment here. JDA delete. Chat as a channel. Basically, the site remembers which channel you last chatted from. Oh, sweet. Thanks, man. Appreciate you hanging with us. Make sure to share and like anyone who is watching. I don't have the... I'm guessing that right now our... can't even think of it right now. The EV Mux that we're using is not logging because it shows 0 viewers, but we're getting messages. I think it's because it doesn't show the number of Rumble viewers, and I'm going to bet right now that's probably where a good portion of them are. I've been doing a lot of streaming with our friend Jen, with her Canadian protests and stuff that are happening right now, and she's been really leaning into StreamYard, changing StreamYard, working with it a lot, and we've been seeing how it interacts with Rumble. It seems that StreamYard is doing a little better with Rumble integration than EVMux is currently. At least when we are on. We can't tell that a chat is not branded for Rumble yet, but we can still see the number of viewers in Rumble, and that does count in the total viewer count because you're doing multi-streaming. So EVMux and StreamYard have yet to really put a polish on their Rumble usage. I guess API, whatever it is. It's not really honed out yet. So anything across your desk that you noticed that we need to probably talk about that you've seen in the past week that caught your eye?
No.
Not really?
No, I've been chasing down houses and taking pictures of things.
Easter happened.
Easter happened.
Did you do something over Easter?
Yeah, I took my boy to the southern tip of Lake Michigan and got some fresh breeze, that
Gotcha.
kind of stuff. We wandered off. We played basketball. That's our new thing. We play basketball.
There was a quarterly I think the quarterly report, fourth quarter average report was reported by Rumble. Did not dive into that. Like I said, the Rumble news is just inundating. It almost makes that. I think that's what's causing me to wonder exactly what the best usage of our time doing news is. If 99.9% of it is all Rumble and very rarely is anything X.
Looking back at where we were doing is we had a flow going, and then there was, okay, well, we have this AI coworker that's going to take over the industry and write everything for us. And that AI coworker is a lazy fuck and ain't done shit for us yet. Then we had a third person who was going to be, we're going to be gathering stories and we're going to be assembling. And the moment I actually put, well, here's where we gather our stories and here's our technique, there was not a single story added to that page yet.
That might have been me.
It was as if just opening up the door to the flow completely changed the way we flowed. And then, as you know, we all are trying to survive this transition to Web 3.0 and figure out, well, how the fuck does anyone monetize anymore? There's more quality content available for people than ever before. It has never been easier to find quality content. The
Well,
corporate interests
that
have
search engine thing definitely
monopolized
has slowed that
it.
down
Yes,
on
and
the
the
web
algorithm
side.
has sort of like given you your own personal feed to distract you from the end of the world happening all around you. I guess my point is that as we step into Web 3.0, there's no longer going to be that huge market boom as in Web 1.0, where they had that first market and then the crash.
Right, right.
The second market boom, I guess you could say, is when we had digital currency, blockchain. When that took off, that was the second attempt where people said, okay, now we're going to make stupid money off the internet, just doing whatever. And now here we are in 3.0, where it's like, well, what content are we going to create? So, at least with our initial plan, we were searching certain websites. I had the solo website, the solo show that I did, where it was just like, what are these websites promoting about themselves?
Mhm.
We were focused on just sort of the one thing. But as you said, even in our own broadcasts, it always seemed to be that Rumble was the top news of the day. Rumble was just
They're just
the
killing it. Yeah,
what was
they're
making the
developing so
most
much.
activity. And as we mentioned the last time you and I did this in our little town hall type setup, is we've been trying different softwares in this process too. So we had something that worked, and then as soon as it worked well enough that we could just roll it out normal, we just completely went
Oh,
Gallagher on it. And here's our audience sitting in the audience, sitting there with the watermelon on their face, wondering what the hell are these guys going to do next.
well, the truth is if you look at the view stats, we're not really piling people in here, and I think what we need to do is people get used to who it is we are. I think more than anything else right now. I think before we really start diving into the tech side, which we're very capable of, and actually a lot of the things that we have been foregoing doing in the past 2 or 3 shows is getting refined right now. I'm working with some software developers to help us actually put together some kinds of these widgets. I'm waiting for API access from EVMux. As soon as we have a full API access, we're going to, at least for the marketplace, or their what they call their widgets marketplace, or whatever that is. Then that should open up some opportunities for us to make some custom solutions that we think are lacking, that we realize that we spent a lot of labor trying to make graphics for. And there's some overlays that I am looking into right now that will be beneficial to us, that are web-based overlays. It's just been a bit since I've really practiced with it, so that is also coming. But yeah, I think in general, so many other businesses that we've been involved with, at least businesses I've been involved with, yours has been slowing down, mine has been slowing down, and I think we know that all of these indicators are pointing to the fact that we need to really reinvest in this company, in these goals. And that being said, we have been behind the scenes. I have been working on the website, working on our new. We want to put together some kind of a click funnel system, not so much because we want to market, but because we want to understand our customers. We want to know who out there actually needs our help versus who out there wants to actually join our team and be helpers. So there are some things that need to still be finished. We did kind of lose an extra leg of our table, with Jen being very involved with the upcoming and current protests in I think it's in Alberta, Canada. That's happening right now. Is we're seeing Quebec 2.0 happening right now, which who knows how that's going to play out. But yeah, our extra hands on deck are still coming back to us. I think they got some stuff that they have to handle in the immediate to near future. As a matter of fact, I believe I was asked to officiate a wedding online, which I'm still considering at this point. Yeah, weirdness all the way around. But at the same time, I'm really thankful to still just have this time carved out. I'm not going to pass up on the 7 o'clock hour. If I'm going to just at least jump in here, tell people we're alive, tell people we're still working towards it. This is a very long growth process for us. But we know specifically what we want to do. And I think part of the problem is we know exactly what we want to do, and it's just going to take us time to get it right. So, and rather than like do that zero compromise thing where we're not going to do it unless we have it perfect. We're going to still show up. We're going to show up every Friday at 7 Central and put something out there. Let people know that we are still working towards making something that is very shareable between you and other creators. We really what's happening. I think I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put this out there. If the company that I've been working for has really sidelined all of my efforts in Seven Talents, and if they're going to kind of slow down or use less of my bandwidth moving forward, then I'm back full time here. So I just feel like this is the most important thing I can be investing in right now. So it doesn't feel like it right now because this is so off the cuff and unscripted, but I think it's important that anybody who knows what we're doing knows that this is just that time period where we're growing, we're learning I'm really leaning into X right now a lot. I mean, a lot.
Well, it feels like okay. So you said X is the new Facebook.
I think so.
Twitter's the new Meta.
You want to see
There's
my
always going to be the
meme
transition. Yeah, you can go for memes here, but
for right today?
I think going back to Web 3.0, I think that's where we're at. Is there is going to be a World War style of battle for your attention, and there's going to be a user base that stays. There's going to have your Facebook user base, and all of them are trying to find their own unique bent to hold you there, but also compete to keep you there. And it just seems like
It is going to be interesting, isn't it?
X, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all of them are just sort of now producing very similar type of content where it's either short GIFs, it's short videos. And again, it's all working towards the 3.0 economy where, you know, who knows how anyone holds and maintains attention. And the way most people do, I don't want to participate. As far as our show at 7 o'clock, it's like, yeah, we had our concept. The
It's still
original
coming.
concept was for me to be behind the scenes pushing the buttons as you had your concept, which was,
Hey,
hey, let's talk about the news.
I have to admit,
So
you have completely gained a lot of mastery over this in a very short period of time. I would say that you are as capable with this platform as I am, and you've proven it with your own content. So it's just a matter of time before we really even kind of figure out what the right flow is, so to speak.
well, I mean, it's all the follow through too. I mean, how many times have I asked you for Seven Talents editing footage? I shot footage in
Oh, dude, we
January
have
and
how many
December
docs? How many
that we've been
docs do we
waiting
have
for.
waiting out there right now?
Yeah, just waiting to wrap up that footage we started. So.
We have 3 behind the scenes series that we've shot, and we're still editing. But yeah, I've declared that Facebook. I think this is the year that it transpires, it expires. I just think with what's happening with Apple, with what's happening with X, this really has all the right potentials. We're just not calling all the right parts the right parts.
I mean, Facebook was originally just a dating app until our moms and dads got on the website. Then it just went insane. So
Was I one of them?
maybe I don't remember. You were part of your OG on Internet 1.0 to 2.0. So you were a content creator back then. I think when Facebook really started to take over the market, but the
Right.
goal of it was initially was specifically just a dating app. Find out which of these
Yeah, which one of the college
people in
kids
your
that you knew?
neighborhood, yeah,
Yeah.
which one of them are there. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
shout out for making a successful app based on one of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But
That's right.
then Uber came along and made a way for you to get fat without having to leave the house.
There you
Game
go.
over after that.
Yeah, I think it's all downhill from there. On other news, General Flynn's film is launching today, and I was supposed to be on that. I was really going to spend a lot of time training you, Brian, to kind of help me like hold down the fort while I was traveling. So today, obviously, them starting off the tour, I'm not traveling with them. I was slated to do that, but we're still Seven Talents is doing advising behind the scenes for their team and doing what we can to bolster their ability to run the back end production. So
Hmm.
um, I think we are going to be going to Rockford in Maine. I think we might do something live with that with Seven Talents as well. But we'll see. We're still kind of we're feeling out that relationship. We're learning about them. They're learning about us. It's been an interesting ride so far. Really feel bad. I really wanted to go down there with a bunch of gear, but they're kind of figuring that out on their own at the moment. And they're doing a bang up job. They I think when we were originally talking, they were going to do two RVs, and now they're doing two Sprinter trucks, and they opted for a monster wrapped RV, which is much cooler. Sounds a lot like what I was talking about with Rumble when we were down in Florida, saying we should really get an RV and put a studio in it. The green Rumble van
Hmm.
was instantly becoming must be a Rumble bus soon. So um, we're gonna we're gonna probably get to play with some of the tech if they end up doing it for themselves as well. So that's interesting news on the horizon as well. Um, Other than that,
Well,
I am
there's one thing I've always known about at least Seven Talents and the way we do things is it's like my relationship with God, capital G.
sure.
You never see it coming,
Then
but the blessings just drop in
it's gonna come.
sometimes.
I am.
And
I've never been so optimistic. I really feel
yeah,
like we're
it,
about to turn a
it's
corner.
I'm always feeling that way. Sometimes when you get lost in the weeds, though, you really get lost in the weeds, and you know, I guess I don't know where I'm going with this metaphor anymore. It was just this idea that you know,
So
yeah, I'm
let's do
sure
this.
we'll find ourselves in another state.
Let's sneak away this weekend and go see that film, and
Yeah.
come back and do a review on that. I think that would be an interesting. I think that should probably be a Booth Monkey thing.
That was
As
the
far
original concept. All January when it was all about live news. I said, "Hey, Thursday, why don't we just do a Booth Monkeys review?" And I kept giving you the concept. You're like, "Yeah, we just need this theater. Yeah,
did
we
you
need this."
did you see the new film that's been announced by Kevin Smith? By the way,
No.
it's called 4 p.m. Matinee or something. 4 p.m. movie.
Okay.
And it's about three kids who sneak into a movie theater. I'm like, it's not fair that the Clerks guy that we're kind of like echoing like the sentiments of is doing a movie about cinema back in the day when you could sneak in. Although,
Hmm.
you know what my experience was just recently? It's probably easier to sneak in now because
Yeah.
there's more people that don't care about their job than ever before. It's so automated that it's
Well,
almost inhuman at this point. You literally just walk in to
you
any
you
theater across the country and no one's checking tickets anymore.
you
As long
you
as you
you
buy candy, they don't care.
never forget the whole script of the Booth Monkeys talked about the beginning of automation
Right.
cutting
Right.
off
It's
the
awful right
very
now.
fingertip of the process of being a filmmaker, which was the
No
final presentation.
flashlights, no one checking
No,
anything,
and
no one.
so
Yeah.
and it was a general apathy from the audience because cinema itself wasn't providing that art anymore. It had been taken over by the corporations, and now Star Wars is basically just retelling its stories. I mean, something I was covering when Ken started talking about this up, and then we're going on this next episode was just this idea of you could really tell they had a story to tell back then. They
Mhm.
didn't have a corporation breathing down their neck to produce content that's safe, that's going to make there was
It's still the only Pixar movie I
heart.
cry at every single time I watch it.
Yeah,
Every
it hits you in a
single
different way. and
time.
and the thing is the first time I watched it, this is what we talk about. First time I watched it, I'm just a young father, and in the cinema with my kids, just doing the experience of being in a cinema. And I watch it and I know it affects me, but I don't quite understand fully how affected I am until I watch it again 20 years later and realize, oh, it hit me
Yeah,
again. It
no,
hit me twice as hard now.
it rips your heart out when you see him
And
lose his wife, and you're just like,
so,
oh
so now
god.
you're Now you're in the cinema now, in the brave new future we live. And audience apathy is at the highest point because they don't
All
ever
time.
have to leave. They know that in less than 3 months, most likely it's going to be available for some streaming service they're already paying for in the comfort of
Right.
their own home.
Right.
We had the COVID crisis scare people away from interacting around each other because of the possibility of germs
That
and
and
the
the
actual fear that, what could be passed around there. But
can I be the boomer to say it?
uh,
The work ethic has dropped so dramatically since COVID.
well, on top of that, the cinema
Oh,
always preyed on young people to pay
right.
them at the lowest rates because, again,
Just
the
they're lucky
machine
to get
will
three
chop.
people to show up, I think, at the theater working at it.
Exactly. And the machine will continue to chop off pieces and chop off pieces
Yeah.
because it's easier to automate a better flow or better thing, get rid of a person's job than actually do things the way we used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those of us continue to try to adapt and survive in this industry as best we
That's
can.
why
But
this media format right here, this content that we are learning to put a very sharp edge on is going to change the industry. That this will eventually continue. This will be replace television, in my
mhm.
opinion, over time. I
Well, it's
think
been
the
doing it for the past few years. It's been slowly creeping in now on
yep.
the television market share. So,
Well, and people want honest content. People don't want overly scripted content.
mhm.
I think this is the more valuable content that we make. Granted, we do need more structure. That is coming. I know that we work better. We work better for you on that structure. But really, it's just a matter of how much time are we going to spend, kind of trying to get the doors open. Because right now, what we're pitching and selling doesn't really have a landing, doesn't really have a way of being immediately useful for you as a customer if you're watching this. If you think that you need support services, there's no real direct other than sending us an email. We want to polish that. We want to bring that up to a certain service par. I mean, for instance, every time I make a phone call to a Best Buy now, you get 20 minutes of hold music and then your shift off seas. I don't want you to have that experience. I want that when you actually have a need that you get directly in touch with us and I myself or my wife or who is slated to be the new CEO of the company, which is awesome. I love this idea of us working tighter together on this project. But
Worked for Iron Man.
it did. It did. It worked for Iron Man. It's perfect. Um, but yeah, we're restructuring on the corporate level. We're restructuring on kind of what our sales focus is. That's changing drastically. I think we really know who it is we want to be for you guys, other than we'll be whatever. There's really a focus to this that has not yet really been presented yet, and so we're just going to keep showing up. And like I said, not a ton to really report, other than Rumble just keeps cranking out the hits as far as updates goes. Looking forward to seeing this new UI update that Rick has been teasing literally for the past 3 days. He's like they're looking on revamping the entire back end. So I almost don't want to go into like explaining a lot of stuff. We were going to do a tutorial series on Rumble, but it might be best to kind of wait for the back end itself to get redone, because it sounds like that's going to be within 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to have a whole new thing to teach. I know that with static URLs, that's been changing. That's going to be changing the way that we interact with these things. And EVMux has had a lot of changes. I've been out of the loop on EVMux, to be completely honest, and I know that there has been some major updates that I haven't fully explored, mainly just because I've been too busy focusing on marketing materials.
Mhm.
So we're going to get caught up with ourselves, and probably I think it'll be obvious when we do, because this will look drastically different when we finally hit the ground with all of our wheels, all hit the ground running, so to speak. And in the meantime, please don't hesitate to ask us questions on Twitter. We still try to post everything. Like our primary news feed currently is our X account. That's where we try to at least bookmark everything that we want to talk about. You can find that at 7talentscom I believe I have a banner here I can pop up here. Oh, it's right here. Had it there at 7talents.com because 7talents was taken. We don't know by who, and they won't relinquish it. I think they got like 12 followers and stopped using Twitter in '07. So it's interesting to me to see how Twitter has gone from being an SMS based platform to being a Facebook replacement in probably 3 short months. I mean, another thing on Twitter, by the way, a restriction today was that it used to be only like Premier Plus account users could have access to Grok. Now it's available to all Premier users, and eventually, as they become more solvent and figure out their ad system, their monetization system, more of these features will become free. The unlimited texting, I think, has to be the next thing they take the cap off of. Like you should be able to make as long of a post as you want on day one. So we're gonna, I was it was stunning. I had a friend that just got on X yesterday, and he's like, "Why can't I go past this number of characters?" I'm like, "Oh, that's an old Twitter thing." It's kind of like explaining old operating systems because it's going to get revamped soon.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the internet as we know it today is settling into its new mode, and it's probably going to be another 3 to 6 months before it really starts to kind of slow down in that arena, and we'll see a large partitioning in going into this election is going to be a big definer as well. People, a large portion of the reason people get online is during election season. That's where a lot of activity is built, and that's going to be interesting because 4 years ago, what X is today didn't really exist, right? So what Rumble is today didn't really exist 4 years ago. It wasn't the platform it is today. So I expect that influx of people that are going to be starting to get more vocal and get more active are going to have a clear choice that they didn't have, and it's going to change the dynamics of this thing we call the internet. And unfortunately, it might get more polarized. I hope it doesn't. I really want to see more people realize that freedom of speech is good for all sides, not just the conservative side of the aisle.
I'm going to continue to promote the booth monkeys.
That's good.
I have laser focus, and I've been trying, talking to a stone, trying to constantly remind everyone I have written a movie script. It is a feature film. It is ready for production. It is in the vein of other creators. It is literally about the now and what we are going
It's
through.
so relevant. It's a very relevant story right now.
It has its own depth, and I'm going to continue to make that the focus of what I talk about because that's where I've been focused on forever and
I
trying
look
to draw
forward
the
to it, man.
attention to. Be
Looking
nice
forward
if
to
anyone
Up.
actually listens. We're already 12 episodes in on the movie review. We have a script available if we have anyone serious about trying to actually make a feature length project. And I'm a writer, director, producer, photographer, always available. So
Yeah, yeah.
just keeping myself busy doing what I do.
You do you, and I hope to eat up all your other spare cycles. And hopefully we will all see each other improve 1 week from today on Friday again at 7 p.m. and we'll be one step closer to maybe 2, maybe even 3 steps closer to actually having our stuff figured out here. Do you have to blow on the logo in front of you for that to work, or is that the cat?
To blow my cat's cat hair out. Yeah.
It didn't seem to work for me. So again, thanks guys for joining us. Brian and I are always accessible. Drop us an email anytime you want at info@7talents.com. If you let me know that, I think you still have your email.
Brian is
B. Gill.
notorious. Brian notoriously is incredibly hard to get and reach out to because he realizes how important his time is. He regularly charges people large amounts for his time, and he is very careful and picky on who he even interacts with because he has a
So
trust of
just send
about.
everything to info and we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah,
Is
but
that fair?
he's pretty good at getting shit done when he's involved in it and he believes
Right
in
here.
it. Right there.
Right here. And let us know if there's anything we can make sure to cover as far as content goes, as far as knowing if there's things that you would like to know more about, whether that be StreamYard, whether that be EVMux, whether it be Rumble Studio. We're still We're still going to always record our lab time. You'll see that pop up. I'm actually transitioning from doing that on StreamYard to doing that here on EVMux as well. So there will be new episodes of that coming out soon, or work days, I guess you might call them. They're not really episodic. So thanks for tuning in, watching this Time Shifted if you are. Make sure to like and share. If you find anything valuable, please let us know in the comments. If there's things that we can do, let us know in the comments as well. We're thankful for you spending time with us. We will talk with you soon. Take care of yourself. Have an awesome weekend. And if the world ends after this eclipse, what do we do, Brian? Are we just do we stream? Are we streaming next Friday if that happens? Yeah, I think we are.
Definitely. My hope is that they've turned the moon into a Death Star and they just have a nice clear shot to just put a new canal between United States and Canada and Mexico.
Well, that's optimistic.
I don't care. It's a once in a lifetime thing, but it's just.
Are you going to see it, by the way?
No, we don't have the infrastructure to have everybody go see it, which everybody's going to try to go. So if I was
you're going to catch a live stream on Rumble?
No, I'm going to go about my day like I always do. I'm working on my next lyric music video. Lyric music video number 47 goes live next week.
Oh, cool.
Booth Monkeys Church of Cinema episode 2 goes live next week. You know, I'm still producing content as Seven Talents as me, but, it's still not necessarily what's in your circle of what we're selling for the client services. But again,
it'll come.
I'm always going to be focused on Booth Monkeys and just making art because,
Well, good. I'll look forward to seeing Up. And we'll see you all a week from now, 7 p.m., Friday o'clock, right? He's like, yeah. Fucking that works excellent. I like Friday o'clock. See you all later. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. More structured shows.